I'm sure most parents have done this with their kids. My kids now are too big for the basket, but they're too small to ride a real roller coaster. So today we're gonna take Freddy and make it so the kids can ride any roller coaster they want. The first step is upgrading the seat. It worked well enough for version 1, but started to bend a little bit. I'm taking a suggestion from a viewer and remaking it out of much thicker steel. The process is exactly the same as last time, design it in SolidWorks and have my neighbor weld it. Since the kids need to see what would happen on a real roller coaster, we need a screen mounted directly to the seat. We're going to use this curved gaming monitor from Asus. It's super widescreen and really tightly curved, which will be really immersive for this kind of setup. This is starting to look pretty heavy. One sec. Well, definitely over payload. Payload ratings aren't just a weight, they're also where that weight is positioned off the end of the arm. I get asked a lot if you can put more weight on a robot than what it's rated for. Technically, yes, and it would probably work. However, you're more likely to break it or wear it out faster. And also, any sort of ratings given from the manufacturer, like accuracy or speed or acceleration, all of those numbers go out the window. One problem I think we're going to run into is the monitor is going to shake and actually hit the steel frame. So we need to design some 3D printed brackets that will hold the corners of the monitor. All of the angles that are back here are really complex. There's a bunch of curves and strange angles, so it's really hard to measure. We're going to go with a software engineer's solution to this problem. I can stuff a bunch of Play-Doh into the space back here, and then when I pull it out, I can measure directly off of the Play-Doh. If anyone knows the proper way to measure something complex like this, let me know in the comments, but this works well enough for me. To run the screen and the motion, we need a computer. But my desktop is far too big and heavy for this. We need something that's small but still powerful. We're going to use an ROG NUC from Asus. It has an Intel Core Ultra 9 and an RTX 4070, which should be more than enough to stream the video as well as control the arm in real time. We have a gaming monitor and a gaming computer. It's as if there's some sort of gaming plan for the future of this setup. We have a spot to sit so you can see what's happening, but now we need to move the arm so you feel what you would feel on the roller coaster. Normally when programming a robot, you move the arm into the position you need and you hit record. And you repeat this over and over and over again until the part is all covered. To manually teach a program that's synced with real roller coaster motion, at best would be a nightmare, if not impossible. So we need to get live roller coaster data that we can use to drive the arm. And for that, Coaster Stats is perfect. They're a group from Europe that have a dummy that they mount on roller coasters. This thing has a bunch of sensors and a camera in it, and they record all of the motion data that you would feel and see on a roller coaster. This project would not exist without them. So if you're at all interested in roller coasters, head over to their channel and show them a little love. For an old robot like this, there really isn't a way to send motion data to the robot over the network. But there are packages where you can send corrections. This package is meant as a way for an external system to be watching a process and make small adjustments to improve the accuracy. If you turn those limits up to 11, well now all of a sudden, you can make corrections from any position to any other position. It even comes with this cute little 100 megabit network card. Ideally, to create accurate roller coaster motion, we would have an arm as big as a roller coaster, but that's way outside of my budget. So we're going to focus on two main sets of forces that you would experience when you're on a roller coaster, and we should be able to get pretty close. Inside of Buster is an IMU, which has a gyroscope. This can measure twists or angular acceleration, just like that toy you used to have as a kid. We use something called a Kalman filter to smooth it out and try to filter out noise. The filtered gyroscope will estimate the orientation of the seat. From that, we can get a vector to the ground, which will give us the force that you would feel in that orientation from gravity. Orientation is only part of what you would experience on a roller coaster. There's also linear acceleration, like speeding up or slowing down, or going around a corner and feeling yourself pulled to the outside. We're going to use the linear forces directly. If we were to filter them, we would lose all the little jerks and bumps that you would feel in the seat. We are going to scale these forces down though, just to make sure they never actually exceed 1g. That'll avoid any aggressive seat movements. Since these are both linear forces, we can add the vectors together to get the overall force that you would feel. On some roller coasters, there's more than 6 Gs of acceleration. With our arm, we're not going to get Gs anywhere close to that, mostly because I don't have the space and I don't want to throw my kids through the ceiling. So we're limited at a constant 1g. Since we know the direction of the force pulling on the rider, we can calculate the angle that the chair needs to be at for gravity to pull on you in the same direction. Now that we finally know the angle of the seat, we can use inverse kinematics to calculate the 6 joint angles of the arm to be able to position the seat that way. Those joint angles are sent to the robot's controller, so the robot moves the seat and you can feel the ride. This entire process is done at least every 12 milliseconds just to make sure that we keep up with the robot's controller. If we aren't calculating this fast enough, the robot system will stop because it's not receiving updates. There is a lot of safety going on inside this system. I'm not covering any of it in this video because I covered that in part 1, which you can go watch if you're curious. As a final check before I put my kids on this, my wife and I are going to try it first. The logical part of my brain thinks this is sweet. The knee-jerk reaction part of my brain is like, what?